Madeline stood in the rainy winter night. Everything in front of her was pitch black. 10 million was an astronomical number to her. Despite being the madam of the number 1 rich family in Glendale, she never got any advantages from this identity of hers. On the contrary, she was battered and exhausted. Madeline did not dare to call the cops hastily because she was concerned about Len's safety. She did not have a choice. She could only ask for Jeremy's help. However, perhaps Jeremy had blocked her number as she could not get through to him no matter how many times she called. She thought about how her grandfather might be suffering now, so she went back to Crawford Manor. She lifted her right hand and remembered how John had stomped on it just now. It caused her to be unable to exert any force with her hand. Madeline knocked on the door with her left hand. The door was opened after a while, but before she could say anything, she was greeted by a bucket of cold water. "Scram! Don't dirty my front door. If I knew you'd hurt Mer so much, I wouldn't have agreed to take you into our family." Rose held the bucket and yelled at Madeline angrily. After she yelled at her, she spat at her and slammed the door shut with a loud thud. Madeline snorted. How ironic. She used her bone marrow to save Meredith, who was sickly before. However, she did not expect the family to bite the hand that fed them. Madeline bit her lip hard and walked under Madeline's window. Then, she lifted her head. The cold rain landed on her and she almost could not open her eyes. "Jeremy, I hope you can help me for the sake of our relationship," she pleaded at Madeline's window. "My grandpa's sick and now he's been kidnapped. You're the only one who can help him now. Jeremy, I'm begging you." Madeline lifted her head to look at the window unyieldingly. However, after a long time, she did not get Jeremy's reply. She tugged on the corner of her lips bitterly. When she was about to turn around and leave in disappointment, the door was opened. Madeline's quiet heart skipped a beat. She ran over quickly. Jeremy doesn't want to see you now. He's taking a shower in my room." Meredith's ugly and heinous smirk appeared in front of her. The joy on Madeline's face vanished instantly. Her heart was hurting. However, she did not forget why she came here. "Meredith, this is about someone's life and death. Let me see Jeremy." Jeremy said he doesn't want to pollute his eyes by looking at a dirty B*TCH. "From now on, he'll accompany me every night." Meredith looked at the drenched and pale Madeline with a pleased smirk on her face. "You peasant, do you know what will happen to you if you compete for a man with me now? I warned you before. Don't try to go against me." Madeline suddenly came to a realization after she looked at Meredith's malicious eyes. "Madeline, you hired someone to kidnap my grandpa." Meredith lifted the corner of her lips in a fake smile. "I just asked someone to buy that old thing a cup of tea." "Meredith, you B*TCH. Just come at me with your wicked plans. Why do you want to hurt my grandpa?" Madeline could not suppress the anger rising in her chest. She grabbed Meredith's collar and slapped her across the face continuously. "Ah!" Meredith wailed in pain. Her swollen and red face was even more swollen now after the blood rushed to her face. "Madeline, you B*TCH. Let me go now. Jeremy, save me," she yelled hysterically. However, Madeline did not stop. She released all of the grievances that she suffered because of Meredith using this opportunity. "Why did I save a cruel witch like you with my bone marrow? Jeremy fell in love with a woman like you because he's blind." Madeline slapped Meredith again and again across her face. Everyone in the house came out after they heard the commotion. When Rose saw that Meredith was being slapped, she ran over and grabbed Madeline's hair. She even kicked her, but Madeline still held on to Meredith tightly. "Jeremy, it hurts. Jeremy, save me. Madeline's going to beat me to death." Madeline wailed and screamed. Finally, she alerted Jeremy. "Madeline, are you insane?" Jeremy dragged Madeline, who was having an emotional breakdown, away. Then, he gathered Meredith into his arms. "Boo-hoo. Jeremy, I'm in so much pain. My face hurts. Maddie is insane," Meredith complained as she leaned in Jeremy's arms. Madeline rushed over. "Meredith, stop pretending. I should be the one crying. Why did I have to meet a two-faced B*TCH like you? Jeremy, listen to that. That B*TCH is yelling and slapping Mer in front of you, and she's still saying that Mer wronged her. You should have divorced this woman a long time ago." Rose came to the aid of her daughter, who was suffering an injustice. Jeremy's eyebrows were knitted together. There was a terrifying glint in his icy gaze. Madeline. He parted his lips coldly and looked at Madeline like he wanted to rip her into shreds. You keep on challenging my limit. Do you want to die young? Hey. Madeline scoffed bitterly. She was indeed going to die young. Jeremy, just open your eyes and look closely. Are you holding a human or a beast? Slap. Rose swung her hand down on Madeline's face. How dare you say that about Myrrh? She is a beast. Madeline lifted her unyielding gaze and looked into Jeremy's eyes. Do you know what kind of cruel things your darling did? She kidnapped my grandpa and wants 10 million from me. Maddie, what are you talking about? How could I do something as despicable as that? Meredith said softly. She looked innocent and aggrieved. Even though he's not my biological grandpa, we're still sisters. I treat Len as my own grandpa too. Plus, why would I kidnap him? You want to get back at me. You want to force me to a dead end. I didn't. Meredith's eyes were filled with tears. She shook her head. Jeremy, you have to believe me. I never did that. If I did, my punishment is that our baby will be stillborn. Myrrh, you dummy. How can you make that kind of oaths because of that B*TCH? Rose was heartbroken. However, Meredith was calm. I didn't do it, so I'm not scared. Hee hee. Madeline chuckled. The even more ironic thing was that Jeremy believed her. He held Meredith even tighter as his icy gaze penetrated through Madeline. You said your grandpa's been kidnapped? Yes. Madeline had a confident look on her face. She admitted that to me just now. Jeremy looked at her and did not say anything. However, he took out his phone and called the hospital Len was in. He asked whether someone named Len was missing. He was on speaker, and immediately, Madeline heard the nurse's sweet voice saying, "No, he's sleeping in his bed." Every word was so clear and concise. Madeline felt as if all of her blood had been turned into ice. She saw a layer of frost in Jeremy's eyes. He did not hang up the phone immediately. Instead, he asked, "How's that old man? Is he diagnosed with lung cancer?" When Jeremy asked that question, Madeline could already predict the answer. Indeed, the nurse on the other end of the phone denied it. What? Lung cancer? Aside from his mental health, his body is very healthy. How would he get lung cancer? You must have made a mistake. After she said that, Madeline felt her body temperature plummet. Before Jeremy hung up the phone, the nurse said, "You said he's missing just now?" He did disappear for some time before, but he said his niece told him to hide because she's playing hide and seek with him. When she heard this, Madeline understood everything. Grandpa was not sick and he was not kidnapped. Meredith was the one who plotted all of this. Maddie, I understand now. You deliberately asked your grandpa to hide so that you can frame me for kidnapping him. Meredith gained the initiative by striking first. She started crying tearfully. Maddie, why'd you do that? I always saw you as my biological sister. How can you do this kind of thing to frame me? Even if you hate me, you can't joke about your grandpa's life. Why are you still asking her? This B*TCH wants to use this opportunity to make Jeremy hate you. Rose cooperated in the act. Madeline, you're so despicable. The Crawfords raised you and funded your university fees. How dare you bite the hand that feeds you? Not only did you steal Myrrh's boyfriend, but you even used these kinds of despicable tricks. You're so inhumane. The mother and daughter duo said simultaneously, placing all of those groundless crimes on Madeline. Madeline felt lifeless all of a sudden. She knew that she did not need to explain anymore. Meredith had set this trap especially for her. Even if she explained until her mouth broke, the man in front of her would still not believe her. Despite that, she was still hopeful toward Jeremy. Jeremy, I don't care if you believe me or not, but I've never done those despicable things. Slap. After she said that, Madeline received a slap across the face. There was blood on the corner of her lips. The burning pain seared Madeline's face. However, it was not as painful as the way Jeremy was looking at her. Madeline, you're not only evil, but you're also devoid of conscience. You would go as far as cursing your grandfather just to get my attention. You even set a trap to frame Myrrh. I think you're just bored with your life. Madeline turned her face to one side and scoffed lightly. Idiot. The man she loved was such an idiot. Not only was he an idiot, but he was also blind. Ah, Jeremy. My stomach hurts all of a sudden. Meredith started screaming pretentiously. Jeremy, is something wrong with our baby? I'm scared. The baby must have been disturbed when that B*TCH slapped you. Jeremy, send Myrrh to the hospital now. You might not even get the chance to be a father after you go." Rose purposely made a huge fuss and exaggerated the situation. Jeremy's expression changed as he carried Meredith worriedly to the garage. "Don't be scared. Our son will be fine." Son. He had even checked the sex of the baby with her. Madeline's heart was shattered. "Meredith is just putting on a show." "Jeremy, are you blind?" Thud. Madeline yelled, but she did not expect John to lift his leg and kick her heavily on her chest. Madeline was unprepared and got kicked to the shrubs nearby. Her palm was sliced open by the jagged branches. Her bloody palm was decorated with old wounds and new wounds. She stood up challengingly. However, she could taste the metallic taste of blood coming from her throat. Then, she started vomiting blood.